Salutations. Welcome to another evening with us at Dice Scum. I am Alabaster the Unicorn, and we're back and wedding and other things like that. I guess it's time to get my nerves shot again by reading terrible RPG.
I'm Adam. I think I just avoided getting a head cold. And I kind of wish that I developed a head cold because I'm a little bit afraid that we're actually going to get into some more boring things now since we're getting into the mechanics.
And I'm Randall, and I'll be your Virgil through this hellish realm.
So what you're saying is we just left the city of Dis.
Yep. This is this is where it starts getting really fun.
Oh, we have 9 more layers of hell to traverse. God damn it.
So, who wants to start reading at least the introduction section? We can at least skim through this.
Alright, so even experienced players should read through this first part of character generation at least once to get a feel for the way the storm system works. Wow, they actually fucking patented their own system.
But
They're the only ones that it's
I think the best part is that they named it after the author of the books, which it's kind of like naming a landfill after somebody.
hey, it's somebody had to dedicate the land for the landfill, so might as well dedicate the name to them.
Oh man. If you already read the previous sections, you should by now have a good idea of which tribe you would like to play.
None.
Oh. Yeah, none. I want to play the humans, damn it. And from which area of the world your character derives. There's only like 2 parts of the world they can really do shit in, dude.
I want to play a Serbian man. I want to play a Serbian man where I drink vodka and remove and remove and
I want to play a crazy Albanian survivalist that just lives in a tiny bunker.
I have a feeling that if we do a game that's coming to the one shot where a bunch of Slavs fighting these guys.
That's a big fucking if though.
Yeah, we have to actually try to parse out these rules. And
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have the brain RAM for that, so let's continue down this train wreck. From here on in, you will make a number of die rolls and a series of decisions, which will build more definition into your character. From traits to magic, you will be guided through each section until you have generated your first Wraeththu character.
Likely your last.
It might not even be your last. It's might not even finish. The first time you make a character, the process might seem slow and fiddly, but once you are used to it, but once you're used to having needles shoved into your fingernails, you know, it gets easier each time. You'll be able to progress more rapidly using the quick character generation notes at the end of the section. See page 26. So we got to jump all the way back up to page 26 to have an idea.
wait. Page 26. Is it? Where does that lead?
I'm curious now. Okay, page 26.
It's literally nothing.
It leads
literally
it leads to the alternate world.
I
So,
think they meant 226.
oh, what?
What does?
So we found another.
No, that leads off to skills. It leads nowhere.
So good. So good. Oh, man. So helpful. Again, we did say that I think the editor killed himself about, I don't know, a dozen pages ago, so you can expect these kind of things. You'll generate a character and background for him, so that your actions in the game have some reference to reality. Reality in this game, okay. Just as the real world is based upon rules and levels, a character is established in the same way.
Wait. The real world is based on levels. Like what? I'm a level 17 accountant.
I'm a level 5 neckbeard.
I am a level 74 shit poster. I mean,
Yeah, I've multi-classed. I'm a level 5 neckbeard and level 2 shit poster. Level 1 person with a functioning life.
You know, I suspect that the authors actually believe this about people. Like, they see little numbers floating above their heads.
That would be if you did a joke. We talk about this, but as like a joke game, that'd be a very interesting thing where we took real life and somebody actually plays as a level 34 accountant or something like that.
Remind me one of these days to show you the RPG Maker game The Closer, which is completely ludicrous and insane. It's an RPG about baseball, philosophy, eroge, and Twitter.
That sounds. None of those sound like they go together, but I am quite fascinated on how that.
Oh! I just realized these people are also incels, if I remember right. And those
Yeah.
people tend to see people as NPCs in their own game, so I'm not surprised they believe levels exist too. If I work on my speechcraft enough, I'll get Becky to talk back to me rather than mace me.
We'll never have the high enough numbers, enough skills to make that speech craft.
For example, if you start the game with a human character, there will be limits built into his skill because humans are so much fucking worse. Because in the world of the game, humans don't have the same abilities and resources to advance that Wraeththu have.
But we have guns.
We have guns, technology, and if you can have magic, why not super science?
Also, we have one thing you can't do. We can actually fucking reproduce.
Not only
And also-
reproduce, but we have an IQ that's in the triple digits on average.
Yeah. Even if it's on the low, either that or it's in the high double digits.
Like, that's our norm. Their norm is mid to high double digits.
Optimistic there.
Yeah.
It depends on the tribe. Like, what were those guys? The Vars, I think, at least have an average of about 80 to 85. The Ugandans are like 30.
They have ADF levels of intelligence.
Oh, man. There is a scale between 1 and 20 for almost all stats and skills, 20 being the peak of human ability. There is no upper limit for harsh ability because, that's...
Mechanical Mary Sue. That's
never a good sign when you openly admit that there's no limitations on a system that is designed to have limits.
Honestly, that reminds me of some of the hilarious things you can do with mid-maxing in 3.5.
Oh, yeah. If, just abusing a mixture of all that money you got, you can get up to +6 in abilities just from reading books, another +5 just from your armor before you even hit epic, and it just goes higher from there, especially if you put your ability points into a specific skill.
Yeah, like I think Greg figured out a way to get like to about 100 by level 20 to get to like 100 strength, which is.
I don't think it's quite level 20, but it's like low 30s, yeah. And if you're wondering, viewers, Greg's out with his Uncle Vinny, finishing business, something about not extortion, meeting old business contacts. So where were we? Oh yeah, humans can max out 20, Har actually can go beyond that for some bullshit reason. As the Wraeththu world is comparatively new, and Har do not yet know themselves the limits of their capabilities.
And I think we can skip up until, like, what? 168, because the rest of this shit is just basic character creation shit. Like, into what tribe was your character incepted? Was your character a member of any subculture?
A human is your character a member of any subcultures.
Or
any other
actually, 163 has something good.
Okay, because I'm already seeing women in Inception, and that's horrible. Because remember that according to this crazy person's own lore, that, well, women can't survive. No girls allowed in this setting. So is it Inception itself? Or
No,
am I
it's
off a
on
page?
163. It's the little sidebar here.
Oh, by the way, fun fact, viewers, you've been seeing me click the bookmarks. It takes you a page after the actual fucking page. Quality. Quality. And now
What?
you know why I've been scrolling people.
Okay, so this is with human. Okay, I can read the sidebar. This game can be enjoyed as much if you play a group of humans battling against the Wraeththu, although such characters are essentially doomed to either die or one day be incepted. You can at least explore the world as a character perceived as the enemy.
See, I actually liked the first sentence because that shows that the author is willing to allow things like that to be done. The second sentence destroyed that, though.
Fuck you! Play my fantasy!
It's like this fatalism. Most people aren't as fatalistic as that. So,
Also, this guy is really reminding me, the main writer, Gabriel Strange, is reminding me as that type of person. You know, the type that they bring in a character sheet pretty much set up from the beginning, and they will legitimately throw a temper tantrum if they're not allowed to play it.
wait a
Even
minute.
if it doesn't fit for the setting, even if it doesn't fit for the level.
So what you're saying is basically Zach.
Oh yeah, he brings in a Victorian era character that has a completely different system. Because, you know, bringing in a D&D 5.0, you know, 5th edition to a 3.5 game, that's very able. Oh, no, it wasn't 5.0. I'll give him credit. It was Pathfinder, and that's relatively transportable, I think.
Also he was almost 8 foot tall without. Yeah, that's not.
Can I be 1 inch below 8 foot tall so I'm not large, but can use large sized weapons because I'm an inch shorter than the minimum? For those curious, I will link to the story of Zach below. There's a few interesting stories with people in our group. So, humans. Al, since you're the one that read the sidebar, Randall, do you want to try pump fake there?
I was gonna. We could probably skip over most of this.
Very well,
Unto,
68
but
then?
yeah.
One thing I do want to read though is how the sentence structure for this question. What did your character do at school? College? Why does it have this weird? Why is there like the comma there? So it's like we have, what did our character do at school, and then it has college. It's like what is the question answer?
I think it's Gabriel Strange being confused that people managing to get into college because he never was able to quite last until he got the degree. Like, I can see him making it into college. I don't see him finishing it, though.
Did your character pass any subject during education, or did he drop out?
Oh, so that's what he did. He fucking dropped out at high school. That explains a lot.
Say, and the rest of this is just kind of shit.
Oh, I love this one. Did your character travel much or stay at home? I assume it was the latter for you, Gabriel.
Actually, we could probably fill this out for Gabriel Strange. So, what he did at school, dropped out.
I mean, I could see him dropping out and getting like a GED or something.
Yeah, he worked part-time on a writing degree and dropped out in the first semester.
Oh, you answered it. He had a part-time job.
Yeah, he worked at a gas station convenience store. Worked 24 hours a week to sell cigarettes to strung-out meth heads.
Was he an important public figure? No.
Never.
Did he love or loathe his work? I'm gonna say that Gabriel actually did love this. It's just a very twisted form of love.
He loved writing this because it allowed him to express his own fetishes. But as for his job at the gas station, he probably didn't like it.
What was Gabriel Strange? What was Gabriel Strange a member of any subcultures?
What's the term for wannabe punk? The ones that pretend that they're punk but actually are just a bunch of chicken shits?
Wonk?
Let's go with that.
Did Gabriel Strange take a specific educational path?
He went to a liberal arts college where he failed after his first year.
What was Gabriel Strange's family life like?
Okay, that's a little too personal, but I'm going to say probably pretty strange. Oh god, I just realized I made a pun.
Would they be shocked to find out that he has become a creature that is perceived to be destroying humankind? I don't know. I think his family would just be like, "Yeah, we kind of knew it."
Did Gabriel Strange travel much or stay?
It depends on what type of guy he is.
I'm gonna say that he was the geeky kid who stayed at home and read books about flower dick mutants fucking each other.
You know, honestly, I think he was that kid in the prologue who has the Linux. What was it? Linux T-shirt.
I abuse Linux.
I abuse Linux. Actually, that might mean instead of a writing degree, he was probably going for computer science and flunked sometime in the first 2 years.
How Gabriel Strange hear about the Wraeththu?
That's a good question. Where did he find those books? In a garage sale?
Maybe.
In a storage shed from a dead person?
Like apparently, these books have actual fans, so maybe he's like one of the 5 losers on 1980s internet who were talking about Wraeththu.
Did he find it in a Goodwill?
Maybe.
He was a
Because
part of
a little fun story for viewers. For some reason, whenever I go into Goodwill, I can usually find some weird things. My favorite being a bunch of former Soviet memorabilia and mainly videos and films that were made in the Soviet Union, as well as an entire collection of not some first edition, but mainly I think second edition Vampire the Masquerade. Like it was a full collection of the clan books and a bunch of other supplementary works. So I could totally buy him finding Wraeththu, the storylines in a Goodwill. Well, now that we have the character, now we even really want to talk about Inception?
Nah, let's skip up to 168.
Thank God.
All right, I'll get this first part. In the world of Wraeththu, women seem to get a rather raw deal. It appears that they are unable to become Hara, and the Hara claim the best and brightest men to become like them. Women who wish to play characters in the world of Wraeththu may feel this is rather off-putting. Gee, you think?
I'll give him
You
credit.
think?
At least he realized it. there are some authors who don't realize this at all.
After all, a Wraeththu character is neither male nor female, and yet in some ways both.
Wouldn't it be culturally male given that they can only be brought from male stock?
Almost all Wraeththu have begun their lives as men and see the world initially from a male perspective. So yes, Adam. A
Just all.
Wraeththu is essentially a male character coming to terms with their new female nature.
Oh, so this is the game you want to bring up if you're a weirdo that wants to reveal that you want to transition.
Oh boy.
Oh. So women may find it unfair that they cannot play a female character coming to terms with their male aspect.
I'm actually
this
really
is-
getting the vibe that this could be a 40k gene line because, like the Space Marines, it doesn't work on women.
Jesus Christ.
The only
This
difference is
is-
it's not as good because you become a pants-shitting shrew person.
Well, no, they're like shock trooper marines that they like keep in cages and then unleash on the enemy.
Also, they're like the Blood Angels black companies.
Yeah.
So my question is, this could be of the 20. This might be the 21st or 22nd Astati prime.
Wait, you're saying that this could be one of the lost ones,
Yes.
like the 11th or the second one?
Yes.
So this is what happened after the Rangdan Xenocides. They became this.
That's why they were lost.
But if that's the case, that heavily implies Lehman Russ and his space corgis destroyed them all to a man.
Okay. If the storyteller allows, it is not beyond the scope of the game to allow women to become Hara of the fabled Calamarians.
I don't
Oh,
think
that
that
sounds
was
like a
in the
Dragon Ball
glossary.
character.
That doesn't sound like a Dragon Ball character.
For a second there, I was reading kangaroos for some reason.
Now, if this
We're
was a
calling-
Dragon Ball character, the name would be a food pun.
Calamaris.
The fabled Calamaris. However, there are a great many things that need to be considered, and the effect on the game world as a whole can be quite important. A lot of the attitudes and fears about Wraeththu depend on who can and who cannot become like them. The Wraeththu themselves also form attitudes dependent on who among the humans are useful to them. So, while the storyteller is free to allow women to be incepted, such a thing should not be included without any thought for the consequences. Literally, don't do this shit, because it'll fuck up my game world.
Well, it's not even the game world, it's just don't fuck up the lore from the 70s flop novels.
From the books, we know two very definite facts about Inception. First, that it works best on the young,
Ugh.
and secondly, that men take to it better than women.
Double ill.
Why, we are not sure.
But we know why.
It's the author's fetish.
Well, actually, that would mean that space AIDS, because it requires infection via the blood, that would mean that the disease is chromosomally linked.
Again, you're putting too much thought into this. Men
That's
and women
unfortunate.
certainly have a different biology, but we are both human, which is still the basis for the Wraeththu.
So I just realized that Inception works on the X-linked chromosomes, and my guess is women, since they have two X chromosomes, if one gets corrupted, the other doesn't take. Maybe it only focuses on one of them.
Or maybe it's Y-linked.
That could be the case. There are very rare few genetic diseases that are purely Y-linked.
Or maybe it's just magical bullshit because the author failed biology.
It's definitely that, but if it's a Y-linked, not even genetic disease, but a Y-linked virus, like a gene-forged virus, courtesy of AIDS blood, that would make a lot of sense.
So, it is not beyond possibility for Inception to work for a woman. Okay, so maybe it is X-linked after all.
Or alternatively, it only works on women that have a trisomy on the last chromosome.
Or it could just simply be that the author is a possible pederast.
Well, he did write an entire tribe of snake people that live in the subway suckling on kneecaps.
No,
the Alex Jones tribe.
It's implied that they don't suckle on kneecaps, they just drug them.
That's even worse in some ways, I think.
What happens afterwards, we don't know.
We know that plenty of Ahara have tried to incept women.
Because, yes, of course. You know it kills them, but we're gonna do it anyway.
It'll work sometime. So it is not unthinkable that for a few exceptional individuals, it may have actually worked. However, if the storyteller allows such a character, it should be a rarity. Although how much of a rarity is up to the storyteller. Even so, such an inception should only be performed by a powerful and experienced Heineman of the Calamari tribe.
I'm just now envisioning Jamie Heineman with a tentacle mustache. Just his beret. He's wearing like a fucking biker gear. He has a tentacle mustache.
Oh no.
It would also be considered a rarity, and in some circles, the Calamari inceptee would be seen as a freak and cast out, as this sort of inception.
By the way, what the fuck are the Camagrians again?
Oh, it's in that little box at the top. You want to read that?
Yeah, for those of you curious like me, let's read what the hell the Calamari are. So the Calamari are the representation of the female aspect of Wraeththu. Little is known about them, and they are only rumored to exist. Their homeland is believed to be far away to the... Oh boy, they're tribe of Thai ladyboys, then.
Yeah.
From here, they base searches looking for rare cases where a female has been incepted. Many believe that the Calamari is another name for the Zigane.
What the fuck's the gun?
No one
But this is the
knows.
problem with it. The problem with this book, it just throws out so many weird words. It's like, this is making sense at all.
It's
like
pretty much
it's
written for someone who knows what the books are, I think.
it's trying to be Tolkien and failing miserably.
The difference is, this is how Tolkien would phrase a scene that he knows everything, but you don't. So a good example is, so the Fellowship of the Ring are walking through a fairly wild and sparse land, and then it starts to green up a bit, and you have Gandalf admit, it seems that we're coming upon the realms of old Holland. And Frodo would be like, Holland? Once there was a great kingdom of elves here, friends to the dwarves, one of the rare times they were. And they would explain a little bit of what the hell Holland was. But here, no, you're just given the fucking name. What does that mean? Good luck, asshole. Find the next definition block. Because it did say glossary terms 1, so there's at least one more somewhere down here.
Okay, as this sort of inception is unknown of the resulting as this sort of inception is unknown of the resulting character.
Wow, that's I don't even know how you can come up with that syntax without being tired when you write it.
The last thing any new character needs is to get the attention of someone like Fade.
Who the hell's Theed again? Was he the leader of the gelato?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's the psychotic elven wizard wearing the robes from like 1,000 years ago. Okay.
Once Hara, an initially female character, is no different from any other Wraeththu, except in her background experiences. The physical changes may seem more apparent on a woman, as Wraeththu are externally more like men. However, the alien nature of the Wraeththu on the inside and the outside makes the change no easier to cope with for a man or woman. Yeah, I'd imagine so. Playing such a character has interesting and different role-playing potential, but is statistically no different than to anyone else. The one flaw a female horror would suffer is the inability to incept over other
How?
humans.
Why? Why is this arbitrary thing here? Also, don't you love that the author basically just says up front, yeah, I mean, you could do it, but there'd be no point.
Play my magical Bishonen, guys.
I can't wait until Gabriel Strange is Me Too'd.
It is unknown whether Camagrians are unable to incept other humans because of the extremely rare nature of female inception. It is even unlikely you will see hundreds of Camagrians around. If you do, then this probably means war.
How are they coming all the way from Asia to, like, Chicago?
Don't question it.
Oh, here's a chapter that we care about.
Staying human.
Staying human. Another option for a woman who is uncomfortable playing a Hara is to play a female human character, much like Kate in the books. You're assuming
Who?
that we know what that is. If I had to guess, it's probably the original character author avatar from that book.
Do not steal.
Female humans have far more potential as player characters than their male counterparts. Of fucking course. Of fucking course. A woman's reaction to the Wraeththu is often dependent on the Wraeththu she has met before, as it is for everyone. Well, given that they tend to rob, murder, and rape, Some Wraeththu see any humans as beasts to be slaughtered, be they man, woman, or children. One character option could be a woman who has lost her family to the Wraeththu and is learning to accept that some may not be the demon she believes them to be. Another
Well,
woman.
Or is just hell bent on gunning as many of them down.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't get it. How is this any different from playing a male human?
Because it lets the author of the book pretend to be a fag hag. Because
Well,
all the gay people in real life are creeped out by her.
it allows Gabriel Strange to pretend he's not sexist. Because it's one thing to essentially say only men allowed in my creepy shrew person superiority. It's another to then try to rationalize why you can get away with female humans working with this group more than the males. So where were we? Okay, another woman might be studying the Wraeththu and is able to get closer to them than her male assistants, as she is not perceived as a threat. You do remember that several of the tribes tend to just murder everyone? However, some Hara are able to live in relative harmony with humans. Places such as Greenling are rare, another probably book setting that no one cares about, but not unknown. As the men of the world gradually dwindle, lost to war and raping, AIDS blood infection, women may find themselves in exclusively female societies, which some might even see as a blessing.
So is this written by a radical feminist?
Nah, it's clearly an incel.
Maybe both. I mean, this had more than one author on it.
Possibly. The women in these communities might travel with Wraeththu to try to create trade links and promises of peace.
Yes, they're going to obtain peace in their time.
So just an entire tribe of Neville Chamberlains, but as women.
So,
Almost all Calamari are adopted by the Zigane tribe and taken to their homeland in Thailand, most likely. There they will be taught in the ways of the Zigane, and if they are unlucky, they may meet Opalexian, the leader of his tribe. No one.
what? This is like remember. This is kind of like the chat, like in the red letter media with like with what movie was it again that really
It was John
crashed
Carter, where Mike just gives out all of these terms that if you don't read the books, you're going to be completely confused on what the fuck they mean.
This is me right now.
This is me right now, and like, this would be if I was writing, say, a book for John Carter, which there is, courtesy of Modifius. It's actually pretty good. This would be like if instead of that, they force you to just accept what the hell the words are. Like, here's the summary for A Princess of Mars. John Carter of Jasum transfers to Barsum, where he meets Tharks. After being captured by the Jed Tarkus, he wasn't Jeddick yet, he is then kept along with Sola, along with his Kalit Wula. After escaping the Tharks in the city of... I forget the name of the city. Korad. It was Korad. He meets Deja Thoris, Princess of Helium, and daughter of... I think it's Sabthan is a friend. But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know what any of that shit is. You have to explain it. You have to... Don't assume that your audience knows this obscure book from the fucking 70s.
Put it in the words of Jules, a character from Pulp Fiction. English, motherfucker. Do you speak?
And on top of that, it's the same thing for anything, really. If you're trying to get people to play, try to make it accessible. That's what I liked about the John Carter game on Modifius. It does explain the terms for you helpfully near the beginning of the book.
That's good.
Or maybe it's just me, because I have read the Barsum books, and they're really good. They are really good. If you like things like Conan the Barbarian, the Ron Howard books, or just standard adventure fare, it's pretty darn good. It's similar to the Tarzan books. So where were we?
169.
Okay, so if women are able to be incepted, then the human sexes will have the same attitude. Like men, any woman is either an enemy or a potential convert. As such, women, like men, will either embrace the potential future or try to fight it. For all their beauty, the Wraeththu are truly terrifying. Not really. You just get a fucking shotgun and they go down like nothing. People the character once knew who have been converted might tell how great it is to be Hara, but of course they would. Their minds have been twisted. Their flesh melts off their fucking body. Of course I wouldn't trust them. Plenty of people would rather die than live as a twisted and brainwashed version of themselves who pisses and shit everywhere. Oh wait, that's not in the text. So, it'd not be unusual for humans to fight the Wraeththu menace with everything they have. And it's not like the Wraeththu fucking rape and pillage as much as they can too, by the way.
Yeah, it's just humans being assholes.
Yeah, it's almost like the writer forgot about what was described earlier in the books with the Ugandans. Or some of the other tribes that do the same fucking shit. Women tend to be less physical in their attempts to fight the future. That's also pretty damn sexist. Just a quick note. Even in very patriarchal societies like Japan, women were still expected to at least know how to use a naginata to defend the homestead during the samurai period.
Also, even during the homestead. I mean,
Yeah,
just like
women
with America.
usually defended because the thing is when you're being attacked and your city is going to be sacked or your village, uh, the kids are usually abducted away either for slavery, murder, or other things. So women tend to try to at least fight back before the occupiers can get at them. I mean, shit. We found Bronze Age examples of women using, I think it's spears at the homestead in the steppes areas where the Ukraine is, with
Huh.
the Sarmatian peoples, the Iranian peoples that used to live there.
Well, if you have someone like a female body, which are on average a little bit not as tend to not be as strong,
And
the
mainly in
spear
the
is actually a
uppers.
perfect
The
weapon.
lowers are about the same though.
But yeah, the spear is actually a perfect weapon for someone like. Then again, a spear is good for anyone. It's a stick.
It's a
It's
stick
got
with a little
it's got
bit
a
of
point.
metal, so it's economical. It's easy to train. You can get them in formation. It was kind of the original home defense unit. So where were we? Oh yeah, sexism. However, the books have shown quite clearly that women are happy to pick up guns and destroy Wraeththu where they find them. So guns do work. Like any other character in a role-playing game, just choosing the sex of the character does not define them. Their background and life experiences will be the main architects of their attitudes. I'll give Gabriel this, at least he recognizes that just having the physical traits does not make a character.
But women get a -4 to strength.
but also no women allowed in my gay shrew people army.
Want me to get this?
It's getting a little long, so if anyone else can jump in, that'd be nice.
All right. If women cannot be incepted, then they are more likely to fit in with a group of Hara than a male character will. Human males are usually the ones trying to fight the Wraeththu, but women seem to be ignored by them. When the world starts to fall apart, might becomes the only justice. With women being physically unable to dominate men, they fall prey to man's desperation. Oh
This is
no.
getting horrible.
They are often kept hidden away for safety, and sometimes used as little more than breeding
Ugh.
stock to replace those that the Wraeththu
Oh
has
my
been.
god.
Oh my god.
To this extreme, rape gangs may stalk the cities trying to ensure that every woman is pregnant in a desperate, horrified attempt to repopulate the human race. Oh my!
There's poisoning the well, and then there's just saying fuck it and nuking the settlement. I think that's where we went. I think we went with nuking the fucking settlement. Besides, again, this is immediately after trying to pretend the Wraith. This guy's trying to pretend the Wraeththu are any fucking better. They're not. We have read what bullshit they do. Anyway, as the physically weaker members of society, many women are forced back into the kitchen to do as they are told. I know this is the writer trying to say it's bad, but ooh. With this climate, it is small wonder that many turn to Wraeththu society, because of course humans have to be so dumb they sabotage themselves. Also, what was that about them being the majority of the human race again? Why are they letting this happen? That's a good question, because if the male ratios dropped horribly, wouldn't it have made sense then for women to take up more of the roles as that happened?
They kind of would be forced to.
The writer just wants grimdark bullshit.
The writer just wants to make sure you cannot sympathize at all with normal men, probably because he got thrown into a dumpster quite a bit by them as a child. And by men, I mean children maybe a year or two older than him. So where were we? Oh, here we go. With this, running for the ironic safe haven of a Wraeththu city, happy to be rid of men.
Yes, run towards the collection of shambled trailers and giant piles of manure.
And people who can't even fucking not shit in their water supply.
No, that's the wait. That's the only way VARs have a society. The women help.
No, I think the VARs are at the very least going, wait a minute, so you gotta poop downstream.
The
That was a tough lesson.
The Ugandans are just rolling around in their own shit.
Drinking beer. Drinking stained beer.
God damn.
The Hara are happy to leave them alone, as women are of no interest to them as either mates or slaves. What? Why?
This
makes no sense. There's not much sense here to be made. Not even like as household slaves. Or
no,
the fact that there's
not.
a lot of evil people that... Remember, they do have that horrible thing called Pelkey.
Oh my god, no.
You can have them work in the fucking vegetable gardens.
I'm reading this whole epitaph is just...
This is schizophrenic.
Is just...
Yeah.
No. I'm reading further down. Oh, it gets better.
Because right now, we are seeing the writer desperately spin their fucking wheels in circles, trying to rationalize whether or not this bullshit would happen or not.
Question: can I read the rest of this, because this is where it's getting more off the rails? And
to quote Grand Moff Tarkin, "You may fire when ready."
So, the Wraeththu are happy to treat them as individuals and trade and work with them as required. In fact, Wraeththu being originally male, many turn to women to help them deal with their newly styled. Who else in the world is there to counsel the Hara about the new aspects of themselves? Such peaceful communities may not be very common, certainly until most of humanity. Potential is already there. In today's society, many women find close relationships with gay men, so why not with the Wraith?
Because they're horrible rape bandits, maybe?
To a woman, Wraeththu may well seem to be perfect men. Yes, press X to doubt.
Who shit, piss, and sweat everywhere.
They are strong and powerful, as well as deeply attractive.
No.
Very unlikely. With all that power tempered by a sensitive feminine aspect of rape, it would not be surprising for many women to fall in love with a Hara, even when she knows that love can never be returned.
I just realized that the writer's books were about her failures to get with a very attractive gay man, I'm betting. Doesn't it make sense, like the original book writer puts herself in there and then just gets shut down by all these shrew people?
However, in its place can form a bond of love dependent not on sex or lust. Aruna for a Wraeththu is not is not only something reserved for those they love. Oh,
Ew.
so it follows that Aruna may not be essential ingredient for any loving relationship. In such a way, Wraeththu can easily come to a non-sexual but still loving relationship with a woman.
It's called
Oh God,
it's called a platonic relationship.
such a relationship would make them perfect adventuring companions. Very doubtful. So, how do you feel about that, guys?
This is literally the author just wanting to be a fag hag.
This is the author again spinning wheels, trying to desperately rationalize why they're not sexist.
Okay.
And why the source material isn't fucking creepy. And why men are evil because they bullied him.
So this is what happens. I think that the original source material was written by some wushu radical feminist, while the RPG book was written by some incel, and it's combined to some weird mutant hybrid between the two. And this is the love child that unfortunately was not aborted, nor had its skull smashed upon.
They should have just made like the Spartans and leave him out to the wilderness for the night. While most women feel it is rather unfair they cannot be part of the new future. Their new future.
Oh no, we're getting
The
movie
superior future.
Bob. Hi, movie Bob.
Some, like Kate, find a more philosophical approach. Everyone is alive and must make of the world what they can, even if their very race faces extinction, which is totally undoable, by the way. It is still up to the individual as how they live their life. Kate reasons that the soul is immortal, and Wraeththu magic bears this out somewhat. So any woman will one day be reborn as a Wraeththu, as will the entire race. So we're getting into reincarnation as well. It seems that for most women in the world, this and the life she makes for herself will have to serve as her only consultation. Sorry, bitches, but you ain't getting nothing in my setting of sure people. Oh, look at that fedora tipping quote. Oh my god! Ha! Your god can't save you now.
Gabriel Chamberg. So
wait, no, this has to be a child. Ah! Oh my god! Your god can't save you now.
So Gabriel Chamberg.
Down here.
Oh God, it's the colostomies. Jesus Christ, it's the rape band. It's the pederast.
It's the pederast, and that's a child. That's a child they're about to fucking abduct.
Oh God, Chamberg. This is in the New York sewers.
Oh God, Davis Icke was right.
We are so gonna get content ID'd for all of this.
Probably. That was a hell of a ride. What else is in this shit show?
Most of traits can be skipped except for this one example names.
What's the page? Because I kind of
70.
170.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Randall, read the example names, please, because this is quite
example
quite
names
something.
For your character include.
Oh, here we go.
Maljeha, Calambus, Crimson, Lynx, Ares, Zilla, or maybe that's Zia.
I think that's a wait. Why are they using a random Hebrew name?
Winter, Eric. Oh God, they even have the stupid Kia.
After the fucking car?
Apparently. Tiamat.
Oh, of fucking course.
Thoth.
Fucking course.
Blackfern.
It's
Zap.
my horrible elf. It's my horrible elf.
Oh my God, can I play Zap Brannigan? Can I play him as an actual human though?
Named themselves after an old region in ancient times. Fucking Nubia.
Shiva. Oh boy. Needle. Anthrax. Look, they had some good songs, but I don't want to name myself after them. Tarn.
Tarn's the only one that so far that's kind of neat.
Oh no, Melchior! Damn you! You're using a Fallout 2 name, you assholes.
It's
That's
using
the
an
name.
old. That's also an old biblical name too.
Wasn't it also who Sauron's boss's original name?
No, that's Melkor,
Okay. Silver,
the hedgehog.
Foxhawk,
It's no use.
Kynvark, Mayorbraun,
Barb.
Lazizile,
I think that one's a stroke name.
Gorlagon, that's barbarian name. Belshazzar and Jin.
You know the best part is I know for a fact it's because they couldn't spell Balthazar correctly.
Okay, I have to read this one quote. Fuck them and their law. Zip hamstring. Ugandan.
And
Do we even want to read the current tribe, or can we
No,
save us this
no.
torture?
And just 1 point on 172. The big conversion table, which has stone as a measurement.
Wait, it does?
Yeah.
Oh. But
Oh,
why
God.
though?
I think at one point this was a Brit bonger that made.
Yeah.
I know that the book was published in Britain.
And also about how sometimes when dividing these numbers, you'll be left with a fraction. A number which is not whole. I have to fucking explain what a fraction is.
What the hell does Kaimana mean? What does level Arga? Is that Arg or Ara?
That's aura.
By the way, don't you like that Gabriel would play Ugandan?
Of course.
Wait, 187. So he's almost 6'1".
Wait, why is he using
But yeah,
metric?
I don't know.
So his character is 6'2", but only 90 pounds. How is he?
No, 90 kilos.
How
So
is he?
he's more about 200 pounds.
Oh, okay, I didn't know because it looks like he just has weight 90. I don't know what 90
No offense.
means.
What you're supposed to do when you list things is you give the unit of measurement.
Yeah, that's
And
why.
Oh god, hair color blue.
and I just want you to note this little box over here, specifically this line. Weight should always be represented by a numeral. That is because your character's weight is an important factor during Agmara usage, and therefore requires a numerical value.
I'm just now imagining that if you get too fat as a Wraeththu, you actually can't use magic because the magic's like, fuck man, I ain't lifting that shit.
No. I was thinking more like you can't use a runa because you can't see it anymore.
Actually, it's the opposite of what Adam said.
Wait, so the fatter you are, the better at magic you are?
Yes, by the rules.
Okay, so this is what I'm envisioning. This 38-year-old weirdo snake guy going, I'll have you know that I haven't had a runa in over 30 years, which makes me a wizard. You know what that means? And he's like 500 pounds. And he just starts slamming the magic down on you. I've spent every day doing nothing but using what's left of the internet to look at horrible things. He doesn't tell you what the horrible things are.
Yeah, according to the book, your character's weight is also significant, as it will affect his ability to store Agmara energy.
So
Literally, you get more mana points if you're fat.
So it's the opposite of Constitution in most D20 games.
And you should probably just flip through the stats, just to tell everybody what they are. They
Okay, so
start on
let's just
73.
quickly go through. So one of the stats that you get is strength, pretty obviously.
Yep.
They list what a weak character strength would be. Remember, it's about 1 to 20, so if you have, say, a strength of 8, you're a little below average, but not by much. Dexterity, stamina, that's basically a fancy way of saying con.
Yeah.
Perception?
So we're getting D&D stats.
Well, perception's a bit different. I believe that's, well, it's just the ability to spot things. If you've played Fallout, it's pretty similar. Willpower is basically like the World of Darkness variant, where it's your self-control.
Actually, guys, if you look at it, it's actually more. It's like a hot. This is more of stealing from GURPS.
Oh, good point.
You said 1 to 20. 1 to 20 is your standard, usually array for most humans in GURPS games. So
Yeah, I wouldn't have known. I've never really played GURPS. It's one on my bucket list, but so willpower is also from there. I'm not gonna lie, from what I've heard, GURPS is a pretty solid system, if a bit clunky.
Yeah,
GURPS
it
is
is.
GURPS is a good system, but it's only clunky just due to the just because you have so much freedom.
And obviously, intelligence. Most Wraeththu have an intelligence of like 5.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget the derived stats, but we won't get to them in this part.
Why? Wouldn't the normal book actually have them here?
No, that's using normal people logic. Wraeththu logic has them about 20 pages on like 10 pages actually.
So let's just skip the determining stats because ain't no one got time for this.
Yeah, it's basically D&D roll 3d6 and then use your skill development points.
I'm actually
like
on the
GURPS.
weapons right now. I actually think I leapt a little ahead.
Yeah.
I'm at combat skills.
Oh, they have merits and flaws. So this is so this
Does GURPS have levels in terms of skills?
no.
Yeah. So a
Depends.
lot of this is ripped off of GURPS, but also D&D because you have things like stat modifiers and a D20 roll.
That is weird. Yep, there's stat modifier. Oh, it shows you what the modifiers would be. The level qualification. I mean, the system so far doesn't seem too janky.
And now we're getting
There's
to
some
combat.
White Wolf elements into it.
Well, see, now we get into the combat at 183.
All right, let me just go to 182 in this book because, again, the bookmark system is a little bit...
It's actually one page, so yeah, 182.
The hell, butchery is a skill you can take. What kind of weird system is?
This is what happens when you throw the D20 system, a dash of White Wolf's storyteller system, and then GURPS into a blender. You put it on pulse. You take out the sludge, and then you just kind of reassemble it like it's some type of Jenga game.
Jenga.
So, yeah, this is the weapon statistic table.
Yep, and there's a couple examples like the dagger and brawl.
Notably that brawling does more damage than a dagger.
What the fuck? I mean, don't get me wrong. If you got a good fist, you could do some solid punching.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, AP. I think that's armor piercing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It could also mean action points, though.
Yeah, and then there's the attack.
Single 3-round burst, full automatic, I think.
Yeah, and notably you get apparently 8 attacks per turn.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, look at this. If your character character has a sword and katana, of course. What is it?
Katana's underpowered, guys. I mean, it only exists because Japan's metal is basically pig iron, but, you know, it's superior to Western blades.
Oh yeah, yeah. Here's the thing about the combat system in this. Once you have decided what weapons your character will wield, plan out whether you need to take a style or multiple styles. It is best to purchase your styles first. To up to
What?
blah blah blah. E.g., if a character has sword katana at 10, then one-handed fighting style should be greater or equal to 10, and all relative bonuses will apply. Is that so? You can so explain. I
I vaguely get what the example's talking about because different blades do have a different balance. But
This also,
a broadsword, like, are we talking a big fuck off greatsword, or are we just talking like your standard longsword, which is also a one-hander?
yeah, or arming sword. It depends on what you're like. But still, why is it this fighting style seconds in just seems needlessly con?
So you specialize in a fighting style, and then your weapon only applies to what the fuck?
your skills only apply with katanas. If you have 10 in one-handed fighting weapons, but you don't have a katana, you take penalties.
I mean, that'd be okay if you took, like, let's say you focus on the katana, which has a different, like, you know, that weapon. It's a certain length, it's a certain weight. The broadsword's a heavier weapon because one of its purposes is it can be used
Okay,
to hit
Adam,
things.
but let's take that logic though. That'd be like being in the military, and just because I'm an American GI and I M16, that would mean that I couldn't use AKs. I couldn't figure out how the fucking AK works because it's a different weapon.
Yeah, but your accuracy would be affected a bit because of the different kickback rate. I'm not saying a
So-
big fucking penalty like this Dumbo's doing. I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
if like instead of a +10 you got a plus, let's say 8 because you're not familiar with it.
So Al, funny you should mention that because here's another example. If pistol Desert Eagle is 10, then the character will gain all relevant combat bonuses. Blah blah blah.
Wait a minute,
For
does
all
that mean Jace started life as a Wraeththu character?
probably. Then yeah, and then the character will only use the base ranged combat action modifiers in combat. I don't. It doesn't
That's
explain
so
what this
dumb.
is. So
It's like-
oh yeah. All the actual information on combat is on page 266.
Because of course you wouldn't have it here. That'd make logical sense.
And then if a character uses a machine gun, AK-47, and has no relevant training, they will gain base combat action modifiers and a -5 to all action on combat roll. And
No.
rolls base combat action modifiers and a -5 to all actions on combat rolls. Oh god, they
So if you don't have your super special weapon, you are fucked.
like I said, this is asinine. Like I can understand, like, maybe you have training. If you have training in pistols or pistols in revolvers, even though it might take you a little time to get used to that, you're gonna know how the basic shit works. Similarly, if I'm doing pole arms, if I'm using a badarsh, may be different from a halberd. Still, a lot of the same fighting styles are still going to transfer through.
What about that? What's it called? The long hammer, the hell hammer, where it's a hammer end
hammer?
and then a spear at the end.
Yeah, well, I'm talking more absurd, barring the more absurd shit. A lot of your more basic weapons are going to have
Like,
are going to have a lot of
I partially get having a minor penalty, like,
But
because
this
there
is-
are different qualities. So your accuracy, if with a pistol, for example, a Desert Eagle has more kickback, so you might overcompensate if you had a Glock instead. And a broadsword's a little heavier than a katana, just because of the fact that it's designed to also be able to be used kind of like a blunt weapon.
Yeah.
But
But-
that's not like a massive penalty. At most, it should be you lose 2 levels worth of your combat skill or something.
Yeah, like I said.
until you've had
Until
time
you've
to
trained with it a bit,
actually
yeah.
train with the weapon.
Like, it
But
takes
no,
a
this is
couple days
on
of
a-
familiarity.
keep in mind that the system is a 1d20. So that -5 is essentially a -25% chance.
which is horseshit.
Yeah.
Like a -1, I'm okay with that. That would make sense.
-5, that's like in D&D, hell, even using weapons you're not normally used to only incurs you a -4. This is even more of a harsher.
To give you an idea, the skinny fucking wizard, like, let's say his name is, let's go with Gary. Gary the wizard fucking picks up Roderick's massive fucking warhammer. He's never trained a day in his life, and yet his penalty to hit is still lower than a dude who, in this setting, who loses his katana and replaces it with a European arming sword.
I can
Or
don't know that.
don't remember. I think it's even more egregious with pistols because by the rules, if you lose your Desert Eagle and have to use a Glock, you suddenly turn into a gibbering idiot.
Captain Jace of the Roughnecks division loses his Desert Eagle. He replaces it with a Colt 45. Worse penalty than Jim Bob, who's never fucking picked up a shotgun in his life.
Okay, I'm going to say you're going to take bigger penalties with melee weapons because, I mean, there is many schools of fighting, but there's only a certain number of ways you're going to use a gun. In reality, let's be honest. There's only a certain amount of ways you're going to be using guns, barring any fancy tricks you're doing with a revolver. But still, that's more of showmanship. I'm talking just raw shooting abilities. More often not, guns are simple. It's the same basic shit.
As a crossbow, it's easy to train to know how to use a gun. Yeah, I get that. Like with you can have the penalty be a bit lower.
Like I said,
But then again, this is the setting where the author goes, well, you see, the reason we can't make black powder is because.
Like I said, I can understand not making like the modern cartridges. I mean, that's somewhat understandable, but I can still make black powder cartridges.
You can still make burner rounds for the fucking normal guns.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you can reload a cartridge with match heads.
Shit,
I mean, it's really
you can make
dangerous.
slam fire guns.
You can just set hell. I can go back to a ball and cap if I.
But you see, technology I don't know how to make.
We're not kidding about this. This will probably be at the end of the series, but we do have archived posts of the author trying to defend this shit and pretty much admitting that he doesn't know what black powder firearms are.
Which is kind of impressive because has he not seen any Revolutionary War or Civil War movie?
Hell,
Probably not.
Like, does he even know about the Revolutionary or Civil War? It's like
that's
no
question.
No, obviously all those wars were fought with knights in shining armor and swords until somebody invented the AK-47.
At this point, I'm almost tempted to think that this is how Gabriel's understanding of history worked. You used swords until the first rifles were invented, and he thinks of them like your Enfields or your Mausers. And they just haven't developed until the 1900s, where they invented the machine gun.
Also, Desert Eagles is a not too common.
It's a meme gun.
Yeah.
No, it's most of them. The thing is, the Desert Eagle is usually applicable. The reason why Israel uses it because it's applicable to their situation because it's tight as hell quarters, and I need a gun that is going to do me the most efficiency.
I don't know, man. I'd rather just take a Colt M1911.
To each their
smaller round, similar stopping power, less kickback, also less brutal on your fucking wrists.
Still, the point still stands. But still.
Oh, I mean, if you want someone horribly dead, the 50 caliber nature of the Deagle is good.
There's also 357 44s, a lot better.
I don't know. I prefer the 45 caliber.
But it's like still. I mean, why are we just bringing one of the more a not too common gun in the United States? It's
because it's the meme gun. It's the gun that edgelords probably flock to because of its big fucking cartridge.
If you want rare guns,
the original machine gun design from 1792 is a neat one because it used square bullets
for fighting non-Christians. I'm not kidding about that.
The logic of the creator was the ragged nature of the bullet would hurt more and do more damage.
Genius. Big level.
The Lamat revolver would also be a pretty neat thing because it's one part shotgun as well. No, seriously, it had a little toggle switch that allowed you put in a shotgun shell, and put in 6 to 8 bullets, and then in the event that someone got too close and you needed them dead, the shotgun would work sometimes.
Also, what was that? What was that trench? What was that machine gun that was towards the end? That was the French gun. That the problem was with its magazine that kept on getting packed with.
Oh, the FM Chauchat.
Yes.
The French version of the gun wasn't too bad since they used the slightly smaller round than we did. It still had feeding problems because there still was a problem with just the feeding it, but for an early machine gun model, it was pretty good. When it was up rounded for the American usage, it made the gun barrel too thin. So it tended to have banana peeling happen, or bending, and the feeder belts couldn't handle the bullets, so it'd fucking drop out.
Also,
if we're talking about terrible guns, the Canadian Ross rifle is
Oh,
pretty good example.
The bolt's naturally a little loose. It's a good sports rifle, but if you have to actually treat the rifle kind of shit for it to have the bolt fly into your face and kill you. that was the design flaw. Basically, if the gun wasn't well taken care of, it had a habit of either jamming, or because the bolt was naturally pretty fucking loose, it had the potential of flying back during the recoil with about, I don't know, half the force of the bullet and killing you.
So you have a bolt coming at you about 350 miles.
Yeah.
So,
and yet, despite that, the Canadians used them to great effect at Gallipoli by literally automating their fire with them.
Oh yeah, the Ottoman bafflers.
Like I said, it was a good sports rifle and hunting rifle, not a good war rifle. Not a good war rifle. It required to be cleaned too much.
About guns. We have to get on to people that have
no
knowledge about guns, talking about them.
Oh yeah, so this is what they were talking about earlier. In that little section where they repeat the same phrase, like they just copy pasted it. The base combat action modifiers.
Around page
see
182.
This block? 184.
Thank you.
183 in the PDF. See that block?
Oh, here we go. So there's an aim, there is a dodge, a damage, a speed, a block, roll, leap, and repair. Wait, repair?
So here's where their ambition was rapidly outpaced their skill. So we'll probably just skim through this, but Adam, you want to take this?
So base combat action modifier. In this section, you'll learn how to calculate your character's base action combat modifiers, which were mentioned in the previous section, which we did not fucking read. These are split into the 3 main groups: close combat action modifiers, which directly affect melee, unarmed combat skills, and ranged combat action modifiers, which are used for any weapon thrown or fired at range. The final group is general combat action modifiers, which are used in close and ranged combat. The more things you add to a system, the more likely you are to fuck it up. The close combat action modifiers are broken down into 7 distinct areas, which you use and combine to aid your character's effectiveness in combat. These combat action modifiers are the basis of all hand-to-hand H-to-H combat, melee combat, and any other forms of intimate combat. What?
Wrong word to use
Ew.
in this setting.
Ew. From table legs to a kukri, these combat action modifiers, coupled with the bonuses from weapon skills, will enable your character to use all of their combat potential.
Who the fuck's using a kukri? I mean, that's a
That's another less than
Because the Gurkhas, they were so cool. How combat works will be explained fully in the rules section, where there will be examples of how all these bonuses come into play. Once you have calculated your character's close combat action modifiers, enter them in the relevant section of the character sheet, and then put a bullet in your head, because you're done. You're done mentally with this shit.
Is this? It's like I'm looking at this. Are we playing a game or are we doing some damn math?
I spent 3 hours trying to figure out how to build up my star bases in fucking Stellaris, and this is still more complex than that simple idea. In case you're wondering, the button's kind of not in an obvious place, so I didn't find it for like 3 hours, so I just kind of went with, whatever. So the first roll is dodge! In combat, the ability to dodge is a blow is essential. A successful dodge will get your character out of the way as a blow passes by. However, there is one drawback with dodging. It doesn't ready your character to make his next attack/action. Dodging is a desperate attempt to avoid powerful blows. You might end up in a position where he has to reevaluate. Wait, you might end up in a position where he. Subject agreement. You need them to fucking match. Has to reevaluate the combat situation. This delays his next blow slightly and could leave him open to a second attack/action that he needs to dodge. These assholes have 8 attacks per round, right?
I don't know. Yeah, let's skim a little bit. Damage, speed. Oh yeah. Speed is interesting.
It's based on the strength? No, wait, that's damage, speed. Dexterity plus perception stat modifier divided by 2. What?
And then it's multiplied by the speed modifier of your weapon.
What?
And that's how many actions you get per round.
You know what made more sense? Just having one, a move action, another action, and then free actions.
But that's
a block.
not realistic.
I'm just now envisioning someone being able to just full on block a bullet from the fucking Barrett 50 caliber rifle.
Oh, they do block it with their.
It just dents off their head like it's nothing.
I have nothing in there, so there's no damage.
How can you assassinate someone by shooting him in the head when they ain't got no brain to begin with? Like dodging, blocking or parrying a blow is another way to avoid damage. Blocking, however, has more advantages. Because it is part of fluid combat actions, your character can ready their weapon faster to either block again or hit an opponent. A successful block can lead to a battle of strengths where each character is slowly trying to push their opponent's weapon away from themselves. I'm just now envisioning blocking during a gun battle.
I blocked it in my hand.
I blocked it with my gun.
Let's see.
No. Here's what happens. You fire your bullet simultaneously at the same time. They both meet and crash into each
Either that or he's like pulling out a grenade. I blocked it with the grenade. It explodes in his hands. Oh, it's based on dexterity plus perception divided by 2 again.
This is why are we? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's double parentheses. I thought we got triple parentheses in there.
Triple.
Is Gabriel Strange a neo-Nazi?
We don't know that, but we do know that he has weird opinions on women.
Yes.
And he's obsessed with the master race.
And he wants to believe Spock is real.
So why do we bring division into this shit?
Now you know why I didn't really want to run a Mutants and Mastermind game, because it requires a little bit higher math than I'm willing to enjoy in a game.
Oh.
This is still more annoying, though.
Yeah, ranged combat it's basically the same shit, but with guns. And general combat modifiers on 187 is.
Oh, please tell me. Oh, they don't have block. At least Gabriel is smart enough to not have that.
But they do have roll. You get a Dark Souls roll.
Dark Souls roll.
Oh, you also have leap. I like to think that you leap out, like you lunge forward like 50 feet out of the way of the bullet, like you're on the moon.
So yeah, this is basically like if 3.5 D&D, instead of just having your basic attack, has like 5 different actions based 5 different modifiers based on various things.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Guys, look at how repair works. Int mod plus perception mod divided by 3.
What?
What?
You combine your int mod plus perception mod and then divide by 3. With no explanation on whether or not you round up or down. I would assume down, though.
No, they actually specified this earlier. Like, if it's 0.4 or lower, you round down. If it's above, you round up.
I mean, that makes sense, but I think that each time that you have a potential moment like that, you should probably have that in that section.
And let's get oh yeah, and now we get to the secondary stats, aka the shit that should have been right after primary stats.
It's after the general combat modifiers. Okay, there we go. I was a little bit behind you guys. Jumping around this nightmare of a book, it's confusing and strange because unlike a normal book, everything is jumbled around. That editor should not have died because he probably would have been able to organize them by section.
This is book salad. It's book salad.
Book
All the
salad.
pages just jumbled around.
I think that's the name of this episode, Book Salad.
You know, this is, or AKA, how the editor attempted to kill the president.
So yeah, the secondary stats are energy. It's the only secondary stat that humans have. So these are the super special stats.
Huh, so humans at least have a secondary stat.
What?
But they have lower energy levels.
Low
Wait,
T
So does that
humans.
mean does that mean you can do Dragon Ball Z moves?
Apparently, energy is worked out as follows. Start with 20 points, then add the roll of a 6-sided die plus this character's stamina stat modifier, multiplied by 2.
What kind of math is this?
I think when you need to bring in order of operations into your game system, you fucked up.
I mean,
I will say this,
I
at
can
least
do
we
that.
haven't seen the quadratic equation.
like I said, I can do that math no problem, but it's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to make my character and play the damn game. Not that I'd want to play this, but still, you get the point. I thought the whole point of a tabletop game is we make the character easy and we pick up.
But you see, because you want it to be easier, that means you're not a true gamer, because real games require you to have to pull out a fucking textbook to understand the basic order of operations, as well as figuring out the limit of a function that we use to calculate how many times you can cast Fireball.
I just want to fucking cast. If I want to cast Fireball, motherfucker, just tell me how to cast it.
Son, if you don't even know basic trigonometry, you are too smooth-brained to play this game.
Okay, oh yeah, we also have Psych. So, you get psychic powers.
You know, I would be like, no, fuck you. I love the idea that humans just awaken that as like the final gift of man to survive.
This is where the psychers start to come in on the play. This is where humanity's psycher abilities start to come into play. Hopefully, I could eventually become at least a beta. I could potentially become a beta level psyker.
Why go for beta when you can be an alpha level psyker?
Because there was only two. There was only 2 people that could possibly reach that level.
Are you sure you're not confusing that with alpha plus?
How many alpha level psychers were there?
I know it's rare as hell, but I thought alpha plus were the Emperor and well, Magnus.
Oh, I thought they were alpha level. I thought they were just straight up alpha level.
I do know there's an alpha plus, and I think there's also an omega minus. That's the Culexus assassins are Omega minus.
Yes,
No, they're
but
just Omegas. Omega minus is something that's so horrible it can basically kill psychers on a planet if you deploy them there.
Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta get this
like-
quote on 189.
Oh, is it in theory? In
Yeah.
theory, if our psychic abilities keep growing at this rate, I would expect in less than 50 years we could establish a psychic network around the world. This would be similar to the wretched thing the humans call the internet, but ours will be useful. Nothing but porn. It'll be
So-
nothing but porn.
So, do you think he added that quote in after he got made fun of on RPGNet?
probably.
Possibly. I would also say that this is just another attempt at him pretending that this race is so superior, even though it's not.
Wait. RPG Net at one point made fun of this. So you're saying at one point RPG Net wasn't?
No, I think even modern RPGNet would mock it just because of the fact that it very clearly has some sexist undertones to it.
Yeah, but 2004 RPGNet was brutal.
Oh yes, I loved their Fatal review. It's one of their best still. They also did a good racial holy war one, if I remember it, where they actually highlight you can't even play the game.
Can we even call Racial Holy War a game?
No,
That's the
because
question.
you cannot play it because the mechanics are not finished.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, and the final secondary stat is composure.
Why would humans not have composure?
There's even a sidebar explaining that. It may seem as though humans could use the composure secondary stat like a Wraeththu would. However, a human character could lose their composure during play, and the effects of low composure to a human are only minor in comparison to how it would affect a horror.
Wait, so the Wraith, the fucking shrew people have Vulcan level emotions then?
Apparently, one of
That's
the more
bad.
noticeable things about horror is their ability to remain composed during situations that humans cannot handle.
Okay, no.
Should their composure drop to low, they'll begin to fall prey to uncontrollable rages and bouts of manic depression.
Oh, looks like the shrew people have the Romulan/Vulcan problem with emotional maturity. That's not good because the reason the Vulcans so obsessively follow logic is they have a super deep well of emotions, which combined with the fact they're very slightly telepathic and superhumanly strong, nearly wiped out their goddamn world in nuclear war a couple times. Yeah, they feel much deeper than humans do. And that's why the Vulcans say to cut it off as much as possible with their philosophy on logic. While the Romulans are like, fuck it, we don't care. We're gonna embrace it. And spies. We'll spy the shit out of you. So
Oh.
basically what happened here is this asshole made the Wraeththu fucking Vulcans.
They're Vulcans, but retarded. They're disgusting pants-shitting shrew people who get angry when mommy doesn't bring them candy.
I think I killed Al.
Okay, I'm just trying to process this. Kind of like how a person with type 2 diabetes tries to process it. Not very.
Do you like that these people follow well, they don't follow the path of logic. They do follow the what is it, Calamari, when you cut out your emotions?
Calamari, I believe.
Calamari, yeah.
Oh, and there are ways to regain composure. Many of these actions revolve around basic Wraeththu principles, such as fucking and the sharing of wrath.
Ew.
Literally, you gotta fuck other people if you don't want to die.
Or if you don't want to become a lunatic.
I feel like there's a porno here.
They need to feed off of another's energy to maintain a form of equilibrium. But yeah, this part was stolen clearly from White Wolf because vampires also have they essentially have a willpower to not let their beast override their ability to not be. Well, they're horrible, soulless, inhuman monsters, but they become ravening, psychotic beasts when their willpower goes to shit.
So I will say though, I I try to have something to say, but I've lost it because I'm at a loss of.
Also, apparently, the shrew people, composure is how they determine attractiveness. So if you can keep your shit together, apparently you're more attractive. Which is a bit weird given that this is a society that can't even build fucking roads. Like even Copper Age pre-Celtic people invented roads.
Though the thing is, the good thing is that when Ancapistan, if I construct Ancapistan in this world, I will know they won't try to build another road. So I'll have a monopoly on the roads. And you can fight.
You gotta pay the troll toad ere you use my fucking road.
Oh, on 192. Here we go.
Oh,
I
we're
wanna
getting
show
into
off this-
magic.
Yeah, we're skipping all this bullshit because on page 192 on the PDF, there's. I just want to point this out just to prove that I'm not fucking with you. Agmara is the base construct of all magic. Whenever your character tries to perform a magical effect, he needs to channel this energy. Blah blah blah. To work out as base Agmara, you need to calculate the character's weight in kilograms. Then take
So you
this
can't
value-
use pounds. You can't use pounds, you fucking asshole.
Then why would you include pounds to begin with?
You know what Fantasy Flight Games did with their Warhammer 40K stuff? They just gave you the metric. They didn't give you any of the imperial measurements. They told you to just metric or fuck off.
And I'm fine with
and
that. If that's the highway, present an option to me, then just say fuck you. I can't
Like,
use that.
why even give stones as an option then?
I don't know. Maybe it's to back convert.
Are we sure
Or
that
something.
Gabriel Strange isn't a Brit bonger?
I think he is, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, then take this value and divide by 2. This gives you base Agmara. To work out your character's maximum capacity, multiply the base value by 10.
What? Oh.
You're
I'm just filled with sex magic.
Literally, being a fat ass makes you a super magical battery.
But you
Oh
have
my
to
God.
get the magic by fucking, so it's like, I'm filled with sex.
Oh my god, I'm getting more imperial vibes from this. I'm getting like these are totally chaos cultists. So these are like, you know, the gluttonous Linus Laneshi cultists, and they're they're filled with so much depravity that they have gained considerable powers from the Perfect Prince.
So this is so Benito is a god in this world.
No, it was that Chance Chance Carmichael, the guy who was like 700 pounds and died.
Oh, fat guy across America. He's pretty in Sigmata. Oh, god damn it! I'm getting our shitty games mixed up.
Eric Heights, I think is his name.
Yeah, Eric Heights is like some master level magic user.
Clocks in at 600 pounds. They're
You know
both
what?
archmages.
I kind of like that. It's like this one lone fat wizard waddling through America on his bicycle.
The thing about this entire setting is throw out everything and just make it during the age of strife on Terra. Just have this be like the shock troopers of the Ethnarchy of the Caucasus or the Empire of Ursh. And it makes a lot more sense.
Oh yeah, here's how you on page 194 is determining hit points.
Oh, you would think that would have been earlier.
Nope. It's back here. And yeah, this is where it starts to get even more fucky with major wounds and minor wounds.
Oh, that's it's similar to in White Wolf. There's 3 types of damage. Minor wounds would be the equivalent of bashing, and major wounds would be the equivalent of aggravated or I forget the lethal damage. It's called. So minor wounds don't need expert medical attention and can be healed over the time with a basic first aid skill. Unless
Oh.
you're a har who can heal with Agmara energy.
Oh, if a weapon does more than 10 points of minor wound damage, it also penetrates the skin to cause 1 point of major wound damage.
So what you're saying is you need to cause 10 damage minimum to make a major wound?
Yeah, and everybody has 15 major wounds. Like flat out, there's no, you don't get extra for high constitution.
Then what's the
What was
point
the
of
point of
making
having
a
a high stamina or energy? Yeah.
I thought the whole point. The one thing I do like is some games is playing fat and chunky because you know why? You're gonna a metric fuck ton of hit points. It's like I'll just throw me in front. Who cares if I take 100 points?
Throw the fat guy in front. What? Throw the fat guy in front.
If we ever play the space game, Gary Fieri is going to essentially be the queen guy because I think with the way that his mid maxing is going to have, he's going to have at level 22, he's going to have well over 300 hits.
Well, it's the opposite land in this case, where con means shit all. Instead, your horrible fatness would allow you to cast stronger magic and more of it. I actually kind of like that horrible idea of a Slaneshi cult that's just focused on gluttony and their archmages are just like 800. You remember the competitive eaters in Judge Dredd?
Oh god, yeah.
So just like a bunch of those assholes as the circle of wizards. They weigh like half a ton to a ton.
I would imagine they would also be cybernetics to get themselves to move.
Well, I'm thinking like Baron Harkonnen, where they're floating around in chairs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It doesn't actually say what happens if you run out of minor wounds.
Yeah, does it just start flickering into majors?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Quality.
So I think it just goes into negatives and keeps inflicting major wounds. So the whole thing is pointless.
Yeah, it makes sense just to have normal HP. See, the purpose in White Wolf to having things like minor wound / bashing damage is supernatural critters can just kind of shrug it off like it's nothing. Like, you smack a person in the head with a bat, you might kill him. But with a vampire, it just kind of pisses them off. Like, it hurts, but not as much as you're hoping. Meanwhile, if you blow a person's face off with a shotgun, it'd usually kill them. With a vampire, it still could kill them, and it really fucks up their day. Like, that's to highlight their supernatural endurance. This means fuck all. It's just an attempt for Gabriel to try to rationalize minor injuries, but it just doesn't really work. Like, mechanically it's neat, but it's kind of pointless.
It's like they were trying to do something different and they weren't talented enough.
They saw the goal, but when they saw the goal, but as soon as they started running, they fell into a mud pit and said, "I'm a dodo." I like how for some reason the Dragunov sniper's there. Do you like that?
Just throw it in. Is that just like a picture of it from Wikipedia with a filter on it?
It could be. I know for a fact that they've used a few filters to hide photos in the past.
Oh yeah, on 196 you get a PN90.
Why are we using an FN? Why are we using a strange gun like that?
My question is, why are we using military gear when wouldn't it be more like your civilian shit, like nuggets or like old surplus Garans?
You could be using AR-15. You could be using civilian
AR-15s. Yeah. You could also be using a variety of more commonly accessible guns like Smith & Wessons and modern-made nostalgia pieces like the Colt. Or if you don't want the Colt, you could use Glocks or Berettas.
But still, it's like, why are we using the PN90? It's like, that's...
I mean, if you want an assault weapon like that, and by assault weapon I mean an automatic rifle, wouldn't an M16 make more sense? Or an AK?
Hell, an H&K MP... An H&K MP5 would make more sense in this case if you want.
What about a MAC-10?
Yeah. No, you're not getting it. It's because it's the future, so we gotta have future-looking guns.
Let's use a more more obscure fucking firearm for this.
let me think. Why use the P90 when you can use the Mendoza RM2?
Oh
Or what
God,
about
we're on that
what
one
about the
again.
Gulf War variant of the Bren gun? Because the Bren gun was used until the fucking Gulf War because of how accurate it was as a machine gun.
The bar Browning automatic rifle, damn good rifle.
Yeah, the
A
difference
little
is
bit
the
slow.
British kept using the Bren gun, like officially, until 1991. It entered service during World War II.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
No. You gotta throw in some space German guns, aka G11.
P90 is the thing that, like, I never think of something like that. I don't think anyone does.
I don't think I even was thinking about that until I saw it. It's like
Just like, what the fuck? Even a bullpup gun of some obscurity would have been better.
Oh, don't. Oh, and the other thing to note about this page, working out the number of attacks or actions you can you can make per phase, aka round. Look at this
You have to do
calculation.
math.
Work out your character's number of attacks per combat phase for each melee weapon. For each,
Oh, fuck.
add the weapon skill speed combat action modifier to your character's base actions and divide it by the weapon's speed.
And there's a different calculation, by the way, if you want to use the ranged guns.
I said, just keep it simple, stupid.
And they list flintlock weapons and muskets down here.
Oh, that must mean that this was a remake of a book.
Maybe. Or that he threw it in, but I don't think they actually have flintlocks in the equipment list.
Where I'm just looking at the tribes on accident because I'm trying to find the flintlocks. I found Marison Flaws.
It's on 196 for the mention of it, but items are way in the back.
Because that's always a good way to have something.
Why are we showing it a picture
Oh, they
of an
do.
item
He
that
does
didn't-
reference flintlocks, so he does know they exist.
All right, and the big table of weapons is on 382.
Do you think that's where we're gonna cut off then? Because
Maybe let's just take a look at it.
So it's 382.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's go.
And yeah, I don't see. I don't. It doesn't list muskets or flintlocks.
Okay, Calico
Oh, wow.
M9 950. The fuck kind of gun?
What? I've never heard of that fucking gun. Also, is there a reason why they don't have the more? Oh, it's in the assault rifle. The Dragunov rifle is considered an assault rifle. Are you fucking kidding me?
The fuck?
No.
Are you
Look
fucking
one above
high?
It. Look one above it.
The WA-2000?
Wait. The 5.56 Steer AUG is considered a machine gun. What
the fuck?
The shotguns are considered assault rifles.
You do wait? Why is the Steyr counted as that? It's not belt fed. What the fuck?
I mean, like I said,
To be a machine gun. Okay, fun fact, viewers, for those who don't know, you probably do since you've heard us K-Spurg a bit. A machine gun is described as a machine gun if it is belt fed.
yes.
That is the only qualifier for it.
Like the German MG42, a fantastic machine gun. In fact, a lot of the God damn it, I'm trying to remember.
I think the more portable MG34 is probably a little better since it has a better barrel lifespan, though. Because the MG42 had a very short barrel life if you used it as rapidly as you could. They used the Browning 50 caliber. That's a good model. Let's see, what are some other dumb things that they include? No crossbow in archery, by the way. Oh no, there's the small, but why not the big one like the scorpion?
What their pistol section's pitifully small. We have Glock 17, Desert
He doesn't
Eagle.
even have the Beretta.
He has a Walther PPK because we got
James
Bond. Parabellum. Why are we using
What?
Why are we using the Mauser?
The Derringer gun? Bitch, are you for real?
God
Having the
damn.
Derringer on there, that's as stupid as if you had like the fucking Lamat revolver.
Okay, so there's common. I meant U is uncommon. Is R is H hard and then R is rare.
Yeah, they list out the availability terms that they're using because the money don't exist no more.
Oh, you have to go all the way down though.
Of course.
No, you can't. No, it's not even listed. They don't even tell you what the symbols mean. Not until after you get past it. What the fuck? Oh, they have a picture of the. They do have a picture of the MP5. What does availability mean?
Oh yeah, I found it. It's on 372.
What?
Common, uncommon, hard to find, rare, and extremely rare.
So
Okay.
stupid.
So you're going to be. Let's see which ones they're going to say. Why do they say the Dragunov? Oh, you mentioned this. Why is the Dragunov sniper a very prolific weapon?
It isn't, unless you're talking about the former Soviet Union.
Well, here, I just want to point out that above it, they have the Walther 2000, the WA-2000 listed as hard to find. To give you an idea, the number built of these was 176.
Oh my
Hard to find? Are you kidding?
I think they mixed up the listing for the Walther and the Dragunov.
Okay. Hey, AK-47 assault rifle hard. AK-47 assault rifle hard to find. Bull motherfucking shit.
Yeah, it should at least be you.
Yeah, they're so common.
Well, I mean, like, I can see if it's like a century or so after, they're a little more. No, actually, I can't even see that. There's people that are still using the fucking Berthier rifles France made in the 1900s out in some areas.
You know, it's so prolific that I believe it's actually a statistic is almost 1 in 5 guns will have be of an AK. How prolific.
Yeah, like they're all around the fucking world. By the way, I've never heard of the XL70E3.
I'll look it up right now.
Why the fuck is Why the fuck are the Winchesters and Remingtons in this section?
Wait a minute. You can do more damage when you can with a Derringer, I think. No, wait. You can do more damage with a Shuriken than you can with a Derringer.
Are you high? A fucking blow dart does as much damage as a Derringer. A dagger does more damage than a Derringer.
Again, what kind of rounds? Oh, they're using a 22.
Yeah, Derringers are small arm. It's literally the equivalent of like one of those cheap Kel-Tecs.
You could use a 9. No, there are 9mm pattern Derringers. There's also 45 pattern. 45.
Oh, if that's the
caliber.
case, it should just. Why is it not just like a D4?
Like I said, there's many different calibers of Derringer actually.
Also, why are they hard to find? Isn't Derringer pretty common?
Yeah. I mean, I always put it as uncommon.
I'd put it as common because you could just scrap one together with some pipe.
Raising another question: why the fuck is the M16 A1 or A2 not on this list at all?
Good question. I think it's because no. I think the writer is a British guy because the SA-80 is the British main assault rifle.
Then why the fuck isn't the SA-80 on here?
SA-80A.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay,
it's at the XL70.
I only saw the first part.
Where's the weather bleed? Where's the if this is a Brit bomber? Where's the weather bleed? Where's the we're gonna go a lot more
Yeah,
over
Webley.
that?
Yeah. Does he not have a Bren gun in there?
Because I don't.
Also, if
because
he has the AK-47, why the fuck doesn't he have the M16?
Yeah, I mean, funny thing, the British use the M16 pattern weapons because that was what NATO agreed on.
Here's a third question. Why are there no FN fouls?
Is that maybe that's what the FN mag is supposed to be?
No, the FN foul is different from the P90 that this dipshit learned about because he played GoldenEye, I think. Actually, a lot of the weapons on here are pretty much what you'd see in the N64 GoldenEye game.
Oh, okay, XL70 E3 Enfield. SA over. The fuck is that?
I've never heard of this gun. It does exist, but I've never heard of it.
Most of these guns I'm looking at, it's like the fuck are most.
Here's another question. Why the fuck, if you're gonna include shotguns, why the fuck is the Mossberg 500 not on there? Or the Spas 12?
Because Gabriel Strange knows nothing about firearms.
Why the fuck is there no? Oh, he does have the 44 Magnum, but why no 357?
Yeah.
Or 38 Special? Why no Beretta?
And
Yeah.
again, why no muskets? Which were
Oh,
mentioned,
there needs an
but they
entire
never
section,
come
yeah.
up.
Yeah, like why no Drace Needle Rifle? Why no Chaspot 54? Why no Enfield Model 22 musket?
Okay,
Those
I'll
exist.
Give you...
There's musket named by years, and I know there's the 1822 model. There's a 44 model. I know there's also a 1861 model. That one was prolific as shit, by the way, Randall. Like millions were made.
And
They were most commonly used by the Empire and by the Confederacy, actually, and Union. We both bought Enfields.
So, yeah, I'll give you a hint to all of this. Gabriel Strange is dumb. He just doesn't know this shit. And he's like, I don't know, I saw it in GoldenEye, gotta be a cool weapon.
Yeah, because I know for a fact that the AK-47 was renamed in the N64 game as the KF-7 Soviet. PPK was Bond's main gun. The 44 Magnum was in the game. I'm betting that the Parabellum Mauser or the Glock 17 was probably renamed to that Dostovel gun. You know, the white pistol.
Yeah.
The way Gabriel Strange is, I'm halfway expecting to see Stormgewehr on there listed as common or some shit like that.
Dragunov Sniper, that's basically your sniper rifle in the game. What else?
So, yeah,
throwing knives, yep.
This is all just shit he saw in GoldenEye. Wait, when did GoldenEye come out?
1996.
The movie came out in 95.
I was confusing. I got it wrong by a year. I was thinking the game I think is 97 though.
Okay, yeah, so that fits into the timeline here.
So what you're saying is his only source of gun knowledge came from fucking. It came from Pierce Brosnan. It came from watching Pierce Brosnan. Gaze upon this. I cannot see a thing.
So what you're telling me is that Gabriel Strange is basically the equivalent of a college going to name off their knowledge of guns because of that.
Yes. Yes. It even had the GoldenEye even had the P90. That's like one of the best guns in the game, by the way. High firepower, it wrecks your shit. It even has the clobs in the form of the Uzi or MP5. They were just renamed that because it was named after a designer for the game.
Oh my god.
I'm having a stroke right now. It's glorious.
I think this is where we call it for a night.
I prefer my rip-off shaken, not stirred. Oh man, fucking everyone. Good night. It's gonna take a bit of editing.
Good
yeah.
night, everybody.